The government needs to spend more money in order to stimulate the economy.
How will the government spending more money stimulate the economy?
The government will buy goods and services from businesses. This will keep unemployment from going up. People will not be fired or laid off because they will be needed to provide these goods and services. The benefits will cascade throughout the marketplace. The economy will be saved.
Where will the government get this money?
The government will sell bonds and spend tax dollars.
If a bunch of people buy bonds, will they have as much money to spend in the market as they would if they didn't buy bonds?
No.
When the government taxes the citizens, do they have as much money to spend in the market as they would if the government taxed them less?
No.
So, what you're saying is, the government will stimulate the economy and keep unemployment low by purchasing goods and services with money that has been taken away from the people who would have spent it on goods and services themselves.
We need government stimulus or the economy will sink into a depression.
What if people do not want to buy bonds because they are losing faith in the government's ability to avoid inflationary monetary policy and excessive public debt, threatening the long-term viability of public bond markets and the current AAA rating?
The Treasury will buy the bonds.
But who sells the bonds?
The Treasury sells the bonds.
Wait. The Treasury will buy the bonds that the Treasury is selling? Isn't that like taking a $5 bill out of your right pocket, putting it into your left pocket, and then claiming you have $10? If I place $2 million worth of IOUs I have written out to myself in a safety deposit box at my bank, I cannot claim to have $2 million in my savings account. If the government does this, it will result in inflation. Prices will get higher. We won't be able to buy as much as we did when prices were lower unless we all get raises. Which we won't. Because businesses will have higher costs, too. Less will be bought, so less will need to be made and people will lose their jobs. Unemployment will increase.
You are a fearmonger. If the government doesn't stimulate the economy, we will all suffer in a new Great Depression.
Your grasp of the ironic is sorely lacking. Even if the government does not buy the bonds that the government sells, and only uses tax dollars, those dollars would have been spent by the taxpayers anyway. How can the government stimulate the economy by taking a bunch of money out of the economy and then putting less money back into the economy?
The citizens are scared. They won't spend their money. If the government taxes it away, that money will get spent.
People only stop spending when they become uncertain. There's no greater cause of uncertainty in the market than a government whose policies are seemingly arbitrary and inconsistent. Some companies get bailed out. Other companies are allowed to fail. The GM and Chrysler bondholders got screwed over while the Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac stockholders got rescued. The people will start spending their money again when the government stops interfering in areas it has no business interfering in. Besides, if the government taxes more of our income, that will just make it more likely we'll decide to spend even less than we already are.
You want us all to suffer a new Great Depression. We'll all be begging for canned meat and tap water. We'll all be wearing uncomfortable shoes, overalls, and distasteful straw hats.
You're only saying that because we live in California and the state is going bankrupt. I'm getting ready to move to Texas.
Do you need a roommate? We can split the rent and utilities.